This is going to lead up into the Patreon video that we got that's coming out tonight. Should be tonight. And it's going to be the truth and the real secrets behind Wrestlemania 4. That is the most controversial Wrestlemania ever, because that is the most thrown together gumbo pot Wrestlemania in the history of Wrestlemania. Let that be known. WrestleMania 4 is the most thrown together WrestleMania you will ever been done. And we'll get to why that is on the Patreon. But tapping into that leads into this is a part of it. I decided to make this one free for all of you guys here, all my wrestling fans, so that you can know all about it. Now, let's get into this. Vince McMahon was riding the wave of WrestleMania. WrestleMania 1, 2, and 3 all kept going upwards. So to up the ante and how much money that they were also making Hollywood appeal. Like they were taking celebrities or actors who had projects coming up. They'll put them in wrestling. Wrestling was becoming mainstream attention. So now they were a part of Hollywood now. Mr. T made that possible. Now they have all the people in entertainment coming and getting involved in wrestling. They're loving it. Cyndi Lauper came and got involved. So now the dynamic has changed. Vince is now the money generator. They're getting sponsorships, toys, and marketing. They're making money. So what's next? Hollywood. We are going to make our own movies. Now, before that gets to be done, Macho Man in WrestleMania 3 loses the belt to Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. Macho Man had the belt for 14 months, one of the longest reigning champions ever. They wanted him to lose the title to Ricky Steamboat, and Steamboat was going to keep it, but they were going to have back and forth matches that were going to be epic and just have it going. But they wanted Steamboat to retain the title because they wanted to make Macho Man the heavyweight champion of the world in WrestleMania 4. He was going to defeat Hulk Hogan. Now, before this even happened, let's get into what transpired beforehand. We're going way too fast. We're getting kind of into the Patreon stuff, but we're going to get into the whole spectrum of how we got here. Ricky the Dragon Steamboat wins the belt in WrestleMania 3. Right after that, Vince has an idea. Vince says, all right, we're going to start building this thing up between you and Savage. And then we're going to introduce other challengers for you to fight. And he was thinking, Savage got to go through these guys, and you're going to go through these guys, and you're going to keep going on, but you're going to keep the belt. So he wanted him to have it to next WrestleMania and defend the title. And they said, well, you and what he was saying, who was he going to have him fight? I forgot who he was going to fight, but he was going to fight somebody for the belt, either Valentine or somebody else. But at WrestleMania, he was going to have another guy come in and be the villain, whether it's DiBiase or whatever. But when they had Saturday night's main event, things changed. And when they got Saturday night's main event, they had NBC money. So now that is major. So NBC is like, well, we want events. We want the stars of the wrestling. We don't want just some regular guys. We're paying big money. We want to see stars. We want Hogan. So he knew what to give them. and said, hey, you keep the money coming, we'll provide the content. You're going to see the best of the best. So Bret Hart, who was becoming an individual wrestler at the time, no more Hart Foundation. It was Butch Reed. No, I'm going to get to Butch Reed. Butch Reed is involved in this situation, but it's not what you think. We're going to get to Butch Reed. Butch Reed was not in the plans, but I'm going to tell you what happened with Butch Reed in this whole story. We'll get there. Don't worry. I know what y'all heard and everything else. We'll explain why Butch Reed was just selected. The problem was, once he won Ricky Steamboat became a bigger problem. Because Ricky Steamboat got to the point where he was no longer in control of his destiny. Once he won, he was already in a marital despair because his wife was complaining all the damn time. He was out on the road. So Steamboat, they just had a son recently, and she was pregnant. She was the worst pregnant wife of all time because she was always on his case, and he's out on the road wrestling. So during the whole Wrestlemania 3, the biggest event ever, the biggest stage for him, he wins the championship. You think his wife would be happy that her husband is finally finna make some big money. No, he needs to be home. You need to be home more so you can be around your son. He doesn't know his father. So she's pushing for him to take a break. So Ricky Steamboat goes to Vince and says, Vince, is it okay if I get a break? He asked Vince McMahon after he just won the Intercontinental title, is it okay if I get a break? So right away, Ricky Steamboat was on Vince's S list when he told him, hell no. No break. This is the year of the dragon. And it was the year of the dragon. But because it was the year of the dragon, we're going to get to what actually transpired. It took place because it was the funniest thing in history. Vince told Dragon, because he came back up, he did his matches, he's like, I'm going to have to take time off. Vince was pissed. He said, then you got to drop the title. Thinking like, okay, this is going to be the shock and awe. Ricky the Dragon Steamboat hears and says, oh, well, damn. I might as well get back to work. Forget what I said. Because that's what Vince is expecting to hear. So the matchmakers are back there. And he says, okay, I'll drop the title tonight. Tonight. Vince is, all right, fine. I'll get someone else. All right, you got your time off. All right, get out. So once he gets out, Vince storms in the hallway. He's looking around, trying to find somebody to be the Intercontinental title champion. So this is why Butch Reed's name was mentioned. Butch Reed's name was on the fight card that night. Butch Reed didn't show up because Butch Reed was pissed and he was not getting paid what he wanted. He wasn't getting showcased the way he wanted. So he would blow off matches. He'll be AWOL sometimes and don't even show up. So that was the natural Butch Reed. And Slick was his manager. So they went up to Slick. and was like, hey, where's your guy? And Slick was like, man, I don't know until he gets here. You know, like, he don't contact me. When he show up in the building, then I know Butch Reed is really finna wrestle tonight. So he was just like, screw Vince, man. I ain't coming in today. Butch Reed was lazy. He was unhappy with his role with the dyed blonde hair, and they called him the Natural. And he was just not enthused at all while he was at WWE. Didn't feel he was being utilized the right way. So he fell into Vince McMahon's S-house. And when you fall in that plot, just like Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, they were on Vince's bad side. Step into the bad side. It's gonna be a long ride. So, when they looked for somebody to pass the title to, just so walking by in his Elvis costume was none other than the Honky Tonk Man. The greatest intercontinental champion there's ever been. And Hogan, when talking to Hulk Hogan, he said, what about him? The Honky Tonk Man. The Honky Tonk Man. And Vince was like, that might be a good idea. We could dump the title off to him. And the reason why, because he had just did his recorded interview that they was going to show for the event and whatever, and he had on a blue suit. It was like a blue or black suit, one of his Elvis suits that he had on. The hair was done. And Vince was looking at the Honky Tonk Man and was like, man, a championship belt around that outfit would look amazing. He tells that to Hogan, like, man, if you put a championship belt around these outfits, it looked like it's part of the costume. He's supposed to be the champion. You wearing that tonight, you finna be the champion. And then he was like, we're gonna have to do some new videos with him in the outfit with the belt around his waist. But I don't want him without the outfit with the belt around his waist. I want him to have the outfits on with the belt. Because it looked like it's part of the costume. And he's great with monologues. And it winded up being the greatest accident in the history of their wrestling, having the Honky Tonk Man as the Intercontinental Champion. Because he had fans, he was known throughout, and the Honky Tonk Man was the Intercontinental Champion. Now, here's where the problem comes back. Ricky the Dragon comes back like, I'm here, Vince, I'm here for you, I'm ready to wrestle. You know, I took my time off, I appreciate everything. Vince was, oh, okay, great. We're gonna get you back to action. Ricky the Dragon Steamboat was in the S house so bad. He was in there so bad. There was no way Steamboat was getting back on his good side. He said, because this was the whole mess up of the whole everything, is all these wrestlers, because how big wrestling is getting, everybody wants the big show. Everybody's coming to Vince with their ideas on what WrestleMania 4 should be. So Savage is like losing it. Like Macho Man, he's telling Randy, like, this stays between us. Hogan, Savage, and Vince in a room. And he's saying, Hogan's finna leave. We're gonna shoot a movie called No Holds Barred. This is our first major movie. Hulk Hogan is the star. This is the movie. He can't hold the belt. So Hogan's gonna have to give up the belt. Now, what we're gonna do is have a tournament for the belt because Andre is upset. And Andre was upset over WrestleMania 3. It was a big event. He did this for Hogan. And Andre was like, okay, he don't understand how WrestleMania worked. Andre was thinking, okay, somebody's got to do something for Andre now. Like, I put you over. Now give me my honor. Let me at least have the belt one time, before it's over. Andre was like, and they were like, whoa, Andre, this is not how this works. So Andre was, I want to be champion. I put him over. I deserve to be champion. So plans were changed. Plans were changed. Because they had an Andre problem. Andre didn't like the Macho Man. And the Macho Man was supposed to fight for the heavyweight championship and was supposed to fight Hulk Hogan in the finals. That meant Andre, who was going to be in it, was going to fight Hogan again. And Hogan was supposed to beat the Giant and go fight Macho Man. Andre wasn't finna lose to Hogan twice. So this was not finna happen again. Now, Andre was like not going to pass Hogan over one more time. This caused a big commotion. Like, Andre's not going to play ball, man. Andre's pissed. People are like, yeah, he beat the Giant. The Giant is nothing. He's been the bad guy. He doesn't, like, Andre's not happy with what's happening here with this progress. So we got to do something for Andre. So Andre was on Saturday night's main event. He fought Hogan. They had this thing with Ted DiBiase, the $1 Million Man, paying off Andre, buying the services of Andre the Giant. Like, he's going to buy the services, and the $1 Million Man was growing in popularity. So this thing with Ted DiBiase and Hogan, that was only for like Saturday night's main event. But Saturday night's main event turned Ted DiBiase into a star. The $1 Million Man, he blew up on Saturday night's main event. He took off. Out of any wrestler that was on there, it did more for his career than anybody else. So we're going to get to how all of this played out on the Patreon. We're going to go through the whole WrestleMania 4, and we're kind of going through that now, but this kind of explains what happened with Steamboat. So he tells Ricky Steamboat, because I'm getting to what set up the Steamboat situation to go even further through the roof. So Steamboat has another big match, right? And he loses. Like right before the match, Vince was like, oh, Vince said you gotta, take the fall on this one, and this is how it's gonna go. So they negotiated it out. Ricky played ball. Ricky did everything. Because he told him, he said, you're gonna have a big WrestleMania 4. Huge. It's gonna be a big event. So your family's gonna be involved. And Ricky Steamboat had it. He said, yeah, 84 is the year of the dragon. And, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, we can use that. And we're back. It's the year of the dragon. So he wanted to incorporate the family and everything. And Vince was, oh, that's a great idea. We're going to have the family moment. It's going to be a big event. You're going to come out in WrestleMania. But we're going to get to that. Don't worry. We're going to get to that. So now they got this Andre problem, right? Andre and Ted DiBiase, they said, well, this is going to create a problem because we can't have Hulk Hogan get to the finals without going through Andre. Andre hates Randy. So putting them in the match, Andre definitely is not finna pass Macho Man over. That's not finna happen. We got a problem here because Andre's going to be in this, they wanted to do this tournament instead of just the match, Hogan versus Macho Man. They wanted to do a tournament to see who was going to be the champion. And that was the factor of WrestleMania. They wanted to do something different. than just make a match. They wanted an event. But now you got all these other wrestlers there because the tournament is the only thing anybody cared about. Let's have this tournament. This is going to be great. But he was like, what about the other wrestlers that wanted to be on the card? Throw them in a battle royal. But we gonna get to that. Now they got an Andre problem with this Ted DiBiase situation that they had only for Saturday night's main event. So they had it where the referee, he had a twin brother when they said, oh, well, we're gonna have it where Andre wins the belt. And then we're going to have it stripped, but we got to figure out how we're going to do that. And he said, well, we're going to do a referee switch, which they normally do. The ref get knocked out and another ref come in. And he says, Earl, what's his name? Helpner, the referee, he said, wait a minute, I got identical twin brother. The referee came up with the idea and said, oh, I have an identical twin brother. So he said, we could bring him in and look like Ted DiBiase paid for plastic surgery. And then we got which one is the real referee. This is going to blow everybody's mind. And he said, can he do it? Oh, that's going to be great. So that came out and it went over real well on Saturday night. Yeah, Earl Hebner and Dave Hebner. Yep. So when he came out, us watching this wrestling live, we was like, how did they do this? There's two identical referees. So it blew all our minds. And then he knocked his brother out. And then he did the 1, 2, 3, counted Hogan out, even though Hogan wasn't pinned, and gave the belt to Andre. So Andre was the champion. He got to hold the belt and he passed it to Ted DiBiase. And they said, well, Andre got to be the champion again. So we solved this problem, right? No. So they make the tournament, right? And it was like, okay, we're going to have Hogan and Andre in the match. And Andre says, Hogan does not beat me. And it was like, what? And they were like, oh, well, don't worry. This is going to work out. Because now this works with our storyline. Hogan and Andre, both of you guys are going to get double disqualified. Hogan's only wrestling one match. Therefore, you guys are going to be in the second round because y'all the heavyweight champions and whatever. Everybody in the first round or whatever, that's what it is. But you guys in the second round, they had this all worked out. So they had Rick Rude versus the Ultimate Warrior, who was just starting to come into his own kind of green, and they went against each other. And my God, that match it ended in like a draw or whatever, and nobody really won the match or something like that. It was crazy. No, Ultimate Warrior fought somebody else, but that's beside the point. We'll get to the Patreon stuff and get into all that. We went to a whole nother level with Ricky Steamboat. Steamboat was promised. Like he thought him and Randy were gonna meet again in WrestleMania, or he was gonna fight Ted DiBiase, and this was his run for the heavyweight championship, and him and Randy was gonna fight for the title. After everything that went down before in WrestleMania 3, the rematch would be in WrestleMania 4 in this tournament. So Steamboat was under the belief, he brought his family out. This was his, ride through the sunlight. This was it. This was Steamboat's moment. He's got his son, he's past his prime. It's just all the big family moment. And boy, Vince is the king of screw jobs. Vince is the king of screw jobs. This was supposed to be the biggest moment in Ricky the Dragon Steamboat's career. He was supposed to win, go and fight Randy, Steamboat was told he was going to be the winner. Valentine is the fading star. Steamboat. Valentine is the fading star here. He's to pass the guy over. He's way past his prime. Steamboat is in the height of his career right now. He's at the highest point he's ever been at in his career. WrestleMania 3 put him over. He beat Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. He was the Intercontinental title before he gave it up to be with his family. So now that he come back, he was supposed to win this match. This match was supposed to go his way. And he got completely screwed over. The referee knew, Valentine knew, Dragon didn't know. So unfortunately for the Dragon, this led to a big event. Now, this what was the call. He was supposed to get rolled over for the 3 count. I mean, for the count, but the Dragon was supposed to kick out. 1, 2, 3. And he pulled his trunks to do it. And the referee is like, nope, 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 you're counted out. He pulled my trunks, Ralph. Nope, you're counted out. It's over. The winner, Greg Valentine. So now, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat is eliminated in the first round. Humiliating, shocking loss. On the biggest stage in WrestleMania, Ricky says goodbye to the people, the fans, everyone. Trump is shocked. Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. So Macho Man is shocked. So after this, the Dragon went back there and he talked to Vince and told Vince, that was pretty low down what you did, but I'll never disrespect this game. I'm going to wrestle to the end of my contract and I'm leaving. He told him right after WrestleMania. And Vince told him, okay, I don't care what you do. I don't care. He wrestled one more time and he was gone. Wrestled one more time, then he was gone. He went straight over to WCW. And it was his last year. His wife kept pushing him to get out of wrestling. So he decided that was it. He was going to get out of wrestling. I think we did Shane Douglas already, if I'm not mistaken. But on the Casino for Life Patreon, we're going to go through the rest of WrestleMania 4. One of the most randomest put together WrestleManias in the history of mankind. Where you will find out what happened between Macho Man and Butch Reed in this WrestleMania match. Just remember this video before we get there. Since I'm talking about it, I should just roll straight over into the WrestleMania 4 on the Patreon. I should just do that. Just go straight on over there and just start getting it done. I might just do that. So, yeah, Vince got rid of Ricky the Dragon Steamboat for that. But, yeah, that sounds like a good idea. So let me go ahead and do that. What's up, Guru? We gonna roll from this right on into the WrestleMania 4. You don't even know why all this stuff went down. You kind of know pieces of it from this video. So we just gonna continue on the Patreon. All right. Good talk. All right, hit the like button, people. Hit the like button. Hopefully all of you guys are Patreon members so you can find out the truth about WrestleMania 4. It's for all tiers. I'm going to put it for all tiers. So you don't have to be VIP to hear the WrestleMania 4 and what went down there. All right, I'm out.